Hello, today is 30th of May 2022. I decided to do a video on conjunctions with Saturn because obviously all the most of the comments that I get from people is just like really surrender into Saturn and just thinking that it's like, well, surrender into the chart full stop, because like, how is this going to be, how my marriage is going to be. Listen guys, I really can't answer those things because it really is down to you as an individual and how you live your life. You have free will. 20 to 30% of your life is you create that. If you're constantly fearful, fear equals bad energy, negative energy, boundaries, limits, lack. You're not going to create anything. Human beings, humankind, remember we are kind and we're here to help each other out. And as much as I can, these are supposed to be informative videos so you can empower yourself. This is what we use astrology for. If you're using astrology to take that power away from yourself, what you're doing, you're restricting yourself even more. So you're doubling up on that Saturn. In fact, you're giving yourself more of a debilitated Saturn in a sense, because what you're doing, you're just thinking, I have no power. You have plenty of power, believe me. We are made of frequency. We can make things happen. This is why we are creative. Human beings are creative. Anyway, so I've got loads of videos on what Saturn is. You can just, I might put some links below, but generally speaking, here is a little sort of intro on what Saturn is. So Saturn is our boundaries, our limits, discipline, and where in our chart we're actually paying off our karma. This is what we've chosen to do. This is almost like going to imagine, this is what you want to do. This is like you've chosen this lifetime to do this. And don't worry, we've got loads and loads of lifetimes. We don't need to just like try and cram everything into one. But if you can cram things into one lifetime, do all the positive things. So where Saturn is, that is probably where it's aspecting, obviously these are going to be like mega, but also aspects 3 houses away from itself and also 10 houses away from itself too. And I actually take that 10 spaces from 10 houses from Saturn as being quite a big one. So, but generally speaking, Saturn is important. Saturn is shows you your weaknesses, where you're shy, where you got like you're blocking yourself, where you got to show humanity, humility, and remove your ego away from it. So where you don't feel good enough and you have to consciously work at it. So as I said, this is very, very, this is basically what we have to work on. And what would be the point of being on this earth if we have nothing to work on? So this is the start point of it. Saturn is obviously rules Capricorn and Aquarius. It's very, very strong in both. It's probably a little bit more autocratic and quite disciplined and unforgiving when it's in Capricorn. So we find people who actually have that in their natal chart, they are really hard on themselves, really hard. And we've all also suffered with that just recently, because we had that in Capricorn for just over 2 years, since 2020, January 24th. It's just recently on 30th of April gone into Aquarius, but it is going to retrograde back into Capricorn again. But luckily it's going to be retrograde for most of it, obviously, until it goes direct. So, but without Saturn and the discipline of Saturn, you achieve nothing in life. That is what you've got to tell yourself. If everything was hunky-dory and Jupiterian, idealistic, you have nothing at all. You just literally live on hope and optimism, being idealistic. So this is where we get the foundation, and we build from the ground up. So we get really solid foundations with the help of Saturn. There are also big learning curves for us with Saturn, where obviously We have our Sadersati, where Saturn will be for just over about 2.5 years before the sign your moon is in, 2.5 years over your moon sign, and then 2.5 years after. So there are major changes in your life during that time. Again, don't fear it. I'll tell you, I have just come out of that, and it was really actually the best time of my life. And when I look back, my first Saturn return, that was when I started my business. So it just literally elevates you. If you go with it, if you put the hard work in, you're sure to get the results. And also when so that was Sadersati, and there's a Saturn return as well. So where Saturn is like returns to where it is in your natal chart in transit, it arrives back on there where it was when you were born, and that will be yours again. That could be quite a pivotal time in your life. So it's very important to just like really harness that energy that's given you to just like go for life and achieve where and normally gives you quite a lot of success. People have got really good work at Saturn, and because Saturn is also the planet that gives you a lot more as you get older, at the time when you don't want to be having a lot of hardship and difficulties. So it's really supportive of life anyway in that sense. Saturn rules, as I said, Capricorn and Aquarius. Aquarius is like multiconus sign for Saturn. So this is where Saturn is really strong, but in a more freedom-loving, humanitarian way. And it's also debilitated in Aries, and it's exalted in Libra because it's a sign of working with other people. Saturn is committed to other people. It's not like about me, myself, and I. It's very much about us collectively. And this is the reason why it's so strong in Aquarius. And just turn this up. So yeah, so this and Saturn is arch enemy to the Sun first, the Moon, and it's also enemies to Mars. It's neutral with Jupiter, friendly with Venus. Venus is Saturn's best friend, because between them they bring commitment, bring family together, you work together, and then you gain from it. It is just commitment to yourself, to paying off your karma, and having other people in mind too, and also being committed to your partnerships and relationships and marriage. It's also friendly with Mercury. It works quite well with Ketu. It's not friendly with Rahu, because Rahu is all about gain and smoking mirrors, and you know, so it's a bit trickster. And Saturn doesn't like that. So Saturn is much more dignified as a planet in nature. Right. So I'm going to stop this now and come back, and we do Saturn conjunction starting with the Sun. Hi, so this is Saturn Moon. Just going to quickly go through some of the things to do with Moon, and just wanted to say, obviously Saturn and Moon are not friendly towards each other, arch enemies again. It's probably pretty much the same as Sun Saturn, although this is obviously affecting your mind. It's more in the mind than the soul being feeling restricted here. When you have Saturn Moon together or aspecting each other, it just means that you have, particularly if it is, you know, like a conjunction, feels like a Sadersati. This is in astrology, Vedic astrology, Saturn, when he goes a house behind your natal moon, over the house that your moon resides in, or the house after your moon, as I explained in previous, it creates this like mind things going on with those big changes. And when you have like Saturn and Moon together in your natal chart, you know that this is where you're paying your karmas. You're learning about how to cope with things to do with the mind. And so anyway, let's go through some of the indications of the Moon. So Moon is your mind. It's about all your how you process informations, feeling, things like that, how they feel to you. It's your mental health, your happiness, stability, security, nurture, nourishment, your home environment, and your happiness. And this is also very much indicative of how your mum felt too. So it's not just about yourself, it's about, her experiences or lack of. And this is very much, moon is the feminine side of us. So it's how receptive we are. Moon also rules liquid assets, which is like money and things like that. So basically, when you have a cold planet like Saturn sitting there, Saturn is going to be stronger than the moon in a sense, because Sun was eclipsing Saturn in a sense, pushing Saturn down, feeling like not good enough. Now you have a situation where Saturn, wherever Saturn sits in your chart, aspects, the planets and everything, you're going to feel some form of lack in them. So now your mind is with a cold, harsh planet that always thinks about the lack, what I don't have, what is missing, that kind of thing. And so this is really about it's a mental challenge that you're here to cope with, because you are now here to look at the moon and stop giving into it. And you're here to learn to work with the mind. And I realized that, I don't know, I have heard sometimes that we could have 40 million thoughts in a day. I don't know, sometimes I think I have more, sometimes less, I don't know. But anyway, you have many thoughts. They're not real. They just come and go, and they're moments, like like the moon just changes all the time. It's very changeable. So just realizing not to give it too much power, that's very, very important, and create your own power. So this is what you're learning how to overcome all those shadowy things that comes with the mind when it becomes negative, because you got like a malefic planet, and it is like one of those planets that's just like, it's like lack. I'm not good enough, I'm not this, I'm not that. It's always coming from fear and anxiety. So just want to say that, this, if you're learning how mind is a muscle, and how you actually have to be the powerhouse of the mind, just like train it really well, knowing what's real, what's not real. So self-sabotage can be one of the big things with this, and mental health, mental illness, just generally illness of the body. And Saturn can also, in some cases, can rule cancer, not the sign, but the actual health issue. So by just negative thoughts, they could just fill every cell in the body with just like unhealthy, fearful energy, and that can just really become negative to your body. And so you have to work at this to actually create a really good environment for it. So obviously it's one of those things as well, that if you hold any resentment towards your mum, you have to just let it go, really let it go. This is just the most empowering thing about any of these things. Just think that, they also have an inner child that probably was not actually satisfied, fulfilled, and they felt anxiety. They probably had abuse, self-abuse, victims of situations, and they suffered from stress and worry as well, which are, again, has become a mirror of your life, or mirror to your life. So the very, very important things with this will be like, you have to learn what is good for your health, promotes health, happiness, which is the positive side of moon, where it can be quite popular, can attract the masses and everything, and can be very nurturing and loving and receptive. Or you don't want to feed the other side, the shadow side of the moon, which Saturn is going to just like feed. So you need to be learning to be in control of that. So I would probably say it's one of those things that you have to choose very, very creatively, because moon is also creative. What things make you happy, and try to add those to your daily life as often as you can. So when you're cooking will probably help you eat really good food and really display it nice on your plate, because it's nourishment, and give it love. giving love to food and drink that you have, your environment, actually means that your frequency goes up. So the other thing is that you can do also is play nice music. It's a creative planet, and never compare yourself with others, because you're individual. Over 7 billion people occupy this earth, and we're all individual, we're all different, none of us are the same. So when people are asking, how will this be I don't know how strong are you, how are you going to create your own life? I don't know. I can't create that for you. You have to create it for yourself. I can just give you some tools. The rest is up to you. You are the director and producer of your own life. You just write your own script. I don't know what you want in life. Nobody does. You have to really find that yourself. So be in control of your mind. And but this actually, Saturn and Moon together, if used properly, this can be so amazing. They can bring so much love and joy to other people. And because they understand, they have like an understanding of people. They resonate really well with all kinds of feelings, and therefore, so they can be very great empaths, very, very sympathetic, and very aware people too. So that's the way to use that, with awareness. So I would say. Anyway, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to show you what it's going to be like for each ascendant. So, actually, I might just be able to do this and share. Oh, wonderful. Okay. Excuse me on that. Okay, for Aries ascendant, this will be the planet that rules for you. 4th house, Moon. 10th house and 11th house, Saturn. So when they come together, that and just obviously Moon rules an angle, so it's an important planet to Aries. Just going to bring this down. Actually, I just realized this is probably, sorry. Okay, so yeah, it's an angle. And Saturn rules an angle, and also what would be Dhanastan, to actually create money and opportunities. So when you have this situation, when they come together as a conjunction or as an aspect, obviously the person has got to be aware of the things that we spoke about earlier. However, this could be somebody who works as an interior, it impacts your work. Somebody who is great at gaining property, land, and refurbishing, construction. They will be amazing at that. They just got an eye, they feel for the area, and they know where to go and find good land to actually create lovely homes, whether it's building it or decorating it, improving it, that kind of thing, property development. And gain really quite well from it, and it becomes better with time, because it also includes 2 upachaya houses. It doesn't create huge kind of like yogas as such, but what it does do, because they're obviously strong houses, it just shows that they can be very, very successful in their work. They can also work with women who possibly, depending on the sign that it falls in, who have been quite unfortunate mothers, who like single mums, abused mums, things like that, and be trying to empower them by that as well. And they could also work in cars, vehicles. It could even be very luxury vehicles, because 4th house could be that kind of thing. You've got to see Venus rules vehicles, but yeah, luxury cars too. And the mum could have had really high status, and this person could work up to really high status once they overcome that fear and all the obstacles that they put ahead of themselves. Once they remove them and realize it's just a mind game, they can really achieve so well with this. So let's go to the next ascendant. For Taurus ascendant, when you have Moon, 3rd house ruler, and 9th and 10th house ruler Saturn. Obviously, Saturn is a strong planet with you. Wherever it sits, it's going to give you some really good good achievements. But this will be a life of learning, a life of teaching, being a professor, really being like being very aware of like communicating in the way that you can actually resonate with people, because moon is receptivity, people, common people, masses, and they just are able to use that, inspire people really through their speech, their words, the way they sing. Maybe even if they are like an artistic person, they are singing the words, poetry. If they're a writer, if they write about travel, things like that, they can really emotionally tap into people's psyche in order to take them on a journey with words, if you like. So very successful work that communications can be, or teachings will be the key. Now for Gemini ascendant, this will be Saturn rules 8th and 9th house, and moon rules 2nd house. So you know that the whole family situation could have been a little bit up and down, and sudden changes in the fortunes of father in terms of, or family in terms of, they could gain suddenly, lose money suddenly because the 8th house issues. But the more they surrender and they just accept that change is part of life, and luckily their 8th house is Capricorn, and Capricorn is the movable sign. So once they relax into it and try to not control it so much, because mind will try to control changes, will not be like not so happy. Once they go with it, then it really does tap into the 9th house, which is all about, because the conjunction together or aspect brings money for them, family money, happiness from father, happiness from, learning, teaching, travel, and brings a lot of goodies for them, because obviously it rules 9th house for Gemini ascendant. Okay, so it does that sometimes. It's amazing, isn't it? Come on, it just kind of locks. Okay, fair enough. Here we are. For Cancer ascendant, so moon rules for your 1st house, Saturn rules 7th and 8th house. So you know that there's constant changes going to be in the mind, and also in this, constantly fearing things about relationships and partnerships, worrying about what the in-laws think, that is always on their mind. But the thing is, the moment they relax and go with it and actually just realize that it's just in my mind, it's probably not what it is, and try to just be very much ground yourself. This is, grounding is so important, and Saturn grounds the moon in a massive way. It's probably not in a pleasant way, but it's just be grounded and just realizing, change is what I need. But because obviously their 8th house is Aquarius, and it's a fixed sign, and it's quite a stubborn sign, for them change is very difficult. So they can, in their mind, this, I'll give you like a little okay, so they can actually create this kind of difficulties for themselves. They can make themselves ill through worry. So they could meet somebody and the person could be lovely, but they go into this like situation where they're overthinking. So the guy has started speaking to them, or the woman starts speaking to them, whatever it is, and they've just like exchanged first names, had a drink or two together, maybe had a walk together or something. They come home, because the mind is always constantly thinking. They've already had the courtship, they've had the engagement, the wedding, and now they're doing the divorce, 8th house. It's all in the mind, and they've just like foreseen all of these that actually it's not real, and they've suddenly, and they could self-sabotage for that reason, 8th house stuff. So just working on the mind, self-help, talking to other people, that will just like ground you, and just be grounded and realize that it's okay worrying and all of that, but just work on the more positive sides of the moon, and don't let the fear get the better of you, and allow you to be so risk assessing of everything. Go with the flow a little bit, live the moment. Okay, Leo ascendant, so 6th and 7th house ruler Saturn with the 1st house ruler the Sun. So this could be somebody who This could be like a yoga breaker because it brings sixth house things into it. Sixth house is an upachaya house, so it does get better with time. This will be, sorry, but I don't know what I said first. And no, for Leo ascendant, this will be 12th, 6th, and 7th house ruler. So apologies for that. Basically, what happens with this is, like, if you're not don't really control the mind and stop worrying, stop suffering from anxiety, then what will happen is that literally you can make yourself ill. You know, it can give you mental health issues, it can give you other health issues as well, and they could definitely spoil any relationship too. So just be aware that you need to be much more present in the relationship and stop thinking too much, and just give your mind a rest. You know, moon rules 12th house for you, so that will be like an indication that you need rest, rejuvenation, regular holidays, regular checking in with yourself, and making sure that, you know, just that was a thought, it wasn't real. Don't allow things to just stop you from enjoying life, and then you can actually tackle things, but it will not be very good. So you just want to check on your mother's health, make sure that she's okay. But in work, you know, a way of actually paying off karma in this is to actually work for underprivileged women, mums, young mums, that kind of thing, help them, or cancer patients too. You could also be a medic generally anyway, because this will give for somebody who's really good at nursing or a doctor. So okay, now for Virgo ascendant, 5th and 6th house ruler, with the moon, which is 11th house ruler. So this can, again, it does spoil yogas a little bit, because obviously 6th house can spoil that kind of thing. But you know that there's going to be like having children and all of those, they always worry about that, worry about, like, you know, worry about their groups that they're with, worry about like children, worry about debts, and that will be the theme and stuff like that. But the positive side of thing is, if you're a teacher, or you have got young students, or teach mothers who perhaps, you know, young mums who maybe they had to leave education in order to bring up a child when they were quite very young, then you can help them achieve in life, you know, because 11th house achievements, and that will just really elevates them, gives them accolades and qualifications in order to betterment their lives, and you would therefore pay off quite a lot of karma and create a lovely life for yourself, you know, through service to others. And remember, Saturn is always about service. Okay, so for Libra ascendant, this will be 10th house ruler, moon, all about the career, and Yoga Karaka planet, 4th and 5th house ruler, Saturn. So this will actually create a lovely Raja Yoga for you guys, and Dhan Yoga, because Saturn can create that anyway. So it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be somebody who really is, can literally, by being not allowing the mind to get the better of you, and just having that balance of work and home environment, happiness with the children, doing things, holidays and fun times with the family, and keeping the balance between work and home will be so amazing. And they could literally have these very grounded, very family oriented, very aware of people's feelings, and just happiness will come through, because Saturn rules your 4th house. Just by being aware of both your community, your family, your children, and just having the balance and being aware of the people that you work with, that will give you happiness. It's a nice setting anyway. So unless even if Saturn is debilitated for you guys, it will still create a yoga anyway. So it will just get better as you just do the hard work. You have to do the hard work with this one. So okay, so the next ascendant, Scorpio ascendant. This is 9th house ruler, moon, and 3rd and 4th house ruler, Saturn, coming together. So, you know, this is all about education, dad's health, that kind of thing, the learning, teaching, printing, just literally about expressing your because obviously ninth house is an angle. Sorry, it's trine, and fourth house is an angle. So it's just like brings it together really nicely for a Raja Yoga. It gets better and better with time as well. So the more you work on thought processes, because Saturn rules third house, that's thinking process. Sometimes the more jovial you make it, the better your teachings will be, the better experience. Actually, sometimes I think these people, when they go traveling and they see how other people live and everything, and realize that a lot of people are actually in the same boat, have difficulties, that kind of gives them that, opens their mind, their vision, and they can literally write books, do vlogs or blogs or have channels where people can actually resonate with them really, really well, and they can actually have got a lot of words of wisdom to give. Their dad could be the same as well. So you remember that dad could have gone through quite a lot of difficulties too. And also your siblings, trying to get on with your younger siblings in order to make this better. And Sagittarius ascendant, second and third house ruler, Saturn, when it's with the moon rules the eighth house. So, there's going to be changes in their situation of money, because it rules the second and eighth house. They're both money houses. And third house, so it doesn't bring this unless like Saturn goes into a trinal house or something like that. And then that will create like a dhan yoga. But generally, it's very much like putting effort into your family, just being aware that life is full of changes, accepting those changes. They could fall out with their, if there's a fallout with their family, try to protect that and look after that. And just their family life could have a lot of ups and downs to begin with. And, just also some of that could be reflected in your younger siblings' life as well. So be aware of their mental health too. And with time, that things get better. You just got to be very open to changes. But luckily, because your eighth house is a movable sign, it's not so difficult once you tap into it and go with it. Okay, for Capricorn ascendant, this will be Saturn rules first and second house. When it goes into when it is in conjunction with the moon, this is seventh house ruler. So this will be like first and seventh house rulers. So it's going to create a Raja Yoga. And so partnerships, they do really well if they just like in partnerships, marriage and all of that. They just, because it brings in money for them, because Saturn rules the second house too. So all those things, just having the balance between yourself and your partner, and just being aware of your family, and they should really try and have a good saving, because they can. Second house is ruled by Saturn, and it's also a fixed sign. So they just need to know that there is money there in order for a rainy day in case, and that will give them a lot of stability and help. So they actually, just being married can bring money for them. And just obviously, again, it just there are some difficulties, but just like keeping top of the mind, being aware of your other half, your partner will be good. Okay, so for Aquarius ascendant, when Moon and Saturn are together, this is like for you is sixth house ruler Moon, so it's not a good planet for you. Saturn also rules first and 12th house, so this will be really good. Hopefully, if it's not to do with, obviously it can create obstacles, debts, health issues, a divorce, that kind of thing, if it's, to do with your seventh house ruler or something like that, but or mother's health generally. But this could be somebody who works in nursing, medical systems, things like that. That's how they pay off their karma through, because 12th house could be hospitals or prisons, prison service, or behind the scenes generally. So that kind of thing will be really good. And the moon does very well if you just like regenerates through sleep, through rest, get yourself off social media, that kind of thing. Just know when you got to switch your phone off. Don't be one of those people who is in bed on their phone, because that can really increase anxiety, worry, not feeling good enough like everybody else's life, which is not real anyway. we all know we all go through difficulties of life. Okay, and Pisces ascendant. For you guys, this will be Moon is your 5th house ruler, so it's a very important planet. Saturn is your 12th and 11th house ruler. You know fully well the education is going to give you, losses on expenses. Travel is going to give you that. Your friends, all that kind of things. Too much trying to achieve in education, accolades, certifications, all of that can give you. This is people who like to spend money on their kids, on good times, creative ventures and things like that, or travel. 12th house is travel, but just be careful that it doesn't give you like addictions and things, too much fun loving stuff, and then it can give you that. And but generally speaking, just do not overthink it, because it's Moon, as long as we look after it and remember to just relax, chill, go on a holiday, ashrams, get away, spa weekend or something every now and then, just to rejuvenate your mind and just be, this is a lovely placement for people who work with children. That's quite nice. So anyway, that's it from me, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you for watching. Thank you.